Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Bloom Pod episode 5. Sit back, grab some popcorn, and here we go.
There it is.
Shout out to Tim. Matthew, my friend, how are you doing? This fine Monday. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a great weekend. 4th of July weekend.
4th of July weekend.
4th of July should always be on a Friday, huh? Wasn't
Dude, that was
nice?
so sick.
That was awesome.
Well, it begs the question of like, we wouldn't have been all, if it was on Thursday, we would have had to work Friday.
Yeah,
and that
was last year. That was last year.
Was that what it was last year?
It's a bummer.
I think for Buds last year, they were like, well, we're just doing the 4-day.
Yeah.
I know some companies will do that. But yeah, 4th of July on a Friday was awesome.
Yeah.
Played
super
golf.
great. Nice.
A lot of pool time,
Yeah.
friends, beach.
Yep.
Just a good time. But you had a good weekend. But
Yeah.
the reality is it's over and the best is yet to come because today is Bloom Pod Day. Last episode was awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone, thank you so much for all the support, all the engagement. I think it went really well. I think that the odd clip was really funny.
Yeah.
My family was like freaking out.
I know,
They
same with
saw it on
mine,
Instagram.
yeah.
They were like, dude, that's so funny.
It got sent in the family group chat. My mom's
Mine
like,
got sent in the family group chat too. They were like, this is so ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. That was a great
awesome.
conversation. Definitely be sure to check that out. I think that was my favorite conversation we've had. Honestly.
Yeah, it was really good.
So
It was fun.
just on, especially with there's still buzz going around. I mean, we still don't even have stock of some of the items we were talking about. So it is all still very much buzzing and hype in this. So you want to hear our thoughts on, Martillo and Top Pro. Our Top Pro video just came out. That was awesome.
Thanks,
I think
man.
you did a great job.
Thanks.
A lot of clicks.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah, it did
going
really well. Yeah.
And we have the MK4 video coming out. If you're listening on Wednesday, it's coming out this Friday.
Yep.
So
Wise Sage.
from the wise one.
Spoiler.
Oh, wise one, my wise one.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be great. So be sure to check that out. So yeah, we wanted to. We've been so gear heavy the last couple episodes, and I really would love to make this accessible to anyone. I know it's a niche hobby though, so that's a little tricky, but you kind of wanted to take a little bit of a step back and be a little bit more broad here, and I think maybe it'll be good for engagement as well in the community, in the comment section. So we're going to start out by just talking about what do you wish you knew about this hobby when you first started? So maybe something that took you a little too long to realize, or something that maybe would have jump-started either your passion or your technical knowledge, or something that you wish you knew going into this. And I think it's a really interesting question. Yeah. And I would love to tee it off for you first. I mean, I'm sure you have an idea for it. You came up with the question. So what's something that you wish you knew when you started?
It's funny. I think this is the least prepared I've been for a question on this podcast, but I think it goes into a lot of different avenues, and I think I wish I knew how much opportunity was in this space for not only getting to know so many people, but also like making something yourself. Like there's so much opportunity for people to make their own gear. Like I was talking some of the like people at Can Jam that started, making IMs, kind of like, how did this become a thing? And they were like, I literally just followed a thread on HeadFi, how to create an IM thread. And I was like, whoa, like really? And it's like, yeah, that's all you need there. And it was like, what? And like learning from the wizard at Noble, he was talking about like, how he just started, he started off with hearing aids, and how like he was like, well, similar technology that's in hearing aids would basically go into like listening to music, like with the drivers and stuff, and making something, that fits the mold of an ear super comfortably, and listening to music like that. And like he just started detailing how he just figured it out himself basically and designed an IM. And it's like, wow, like I would have never thought to myself that this would be possible for someone like me and you to make something. Yeah. And I still have always flirted with the idea, like how cool would it be to sit down, do that process. Obviously I don't think I could, just knowing myself. I'm not very handsy like that, but like it's just there's so much opportunity in the space for innovation, for exploration, like creating new things. Yeah. And I think when I just got into this hobby, I just looked at it almost as just a stepping stone in my career as a job. Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm so
just
sorry.
Like, I just saw it as like, I'll be shipping packages, maybe I'll make some videos and stuff, but like,
right.
There's just so much room for people that if you're a creative thinker if you really have a passion for creating things, like there's so much opportunity for you in this hobby to make something that people really resonate with. I mean, like we talked about in a few episodes ago, like it's such a cool opportunity to go to Can Jam and talk with the creators, like get an inside look into their creative process. And like anyone can really do that from a thread on HeadFi. So as long as you have the time, as long as you have the resources, as long as you have the will, you know, you can really make something as a hobby. So I don't know. I think that's always been something that I've found interesting ever since, you know, just getting into this. So
yeah, it's crazy because like I don't know anything on the manufacturing side of IEMs, and like I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, okay, well, if I was like gonna like start from the ground zero and make an IEM, like I would need a 3D printer.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure you can get the drivers, you know, you can come up with your driver configuration, and then when it comes to producing the IEM, I'm totally lost. And like I don't even know, like I don't even know if you have insight on it, but I have my curiosity, like how do they tune IEMs? Is that a noob question?
No, because I didn't really know much about it until I watched James interviewed Short Bus Audio. I'm blanking on his name, his actual name.
Audio.
Yeah, Short Bus Audio. I think he has like 800 subs. Like very small. He's creating an IM right now that I've been tracking for a little while. He does like sparse reviews here and there. But he had a sit down conversation with James, and he went through the process. And I was just like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, this is bananas. And I started just doing light research on it, read the HeadFi thread. But this stuff is just so above my level of understanding. Like, this is so, it just goes to show, like, the knowledge, just the creative nature of these IEM makers, like they're going into the process because they just need to know so much. So I think they use some kind of software, obviously, to tune IEMs. They go through a rigorous, you know, measuring process of fine tuning every single detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was talking about it. So if you're ever interested in it, I would totally watch that
I was just trying to find it. You said Short Bus Audio.
Yeah, it's Short Bus Audio. I forget the guy's name. I could find it. I'll pull it up.
Chat later.
I'll pull it up now just so I can say the guy's name. But yeah, I mean he just went into it. Maybe just had the audio nomad go there.
Such a sick intro.
I know, it is such a sick intro. His whole branding is just really
Their
cool.
editing is like out of this world.
I know. They're very, very top-notch stuff over at Linsol. But yeah, I don't know. I think that whole process is really cool, and I think had I known going into the hobby just how much opportunity there was, I think I maybe would have started things off a little bit earlier in my career.
Yeah, I can't believe how much opportunity that there is in content creation, especially. And it was so helpful for me getting started because I'm a YouTube doom scroll apologist. I'm
Welcome.
a YouTube guy. So all the creators in this space. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, it's a niche hobby. I think of my niche hobbies. I follow coffee guys on YouTube. I follow obviously baseball guys and movie guys, and so that I had no idea like just what an engaging and warm community this is.
Yeah.
And on HeadFi too.
Yeah.
I wish I was on HeadFi sooner.
Yeah.
I think something that I thought of instantly when you sent this question to me yesterday is. I wish when I started, and it's a different relationship we have because we work for Bloom and we're in customer service. So everything has an asterisk on the fact that this is our career and this is what we do. But I guess when I started, I was very much like, new guy jitters and like, okay, what do the rest of the CS boys like? You love like Prismatica or I don't know, like you guys were having me listen to a bunch of IEMs and I was so nervous at first to share my thoughts on the IEM, And I guess I wish I learned sooner how subjective the hobby is.
Yeah.
I know we talk about this all the time and it's like just becoming like a broken record, but it took me a while to get comfortable to be like, you know what, I really like this, or on the contrary, like, nah, this isn't for me, and have a hot take because it's like
I was scared of that. That's what I was most scared of saying. I don't like.
I think I was scared of the opposite actually at first. I think I was more scared of I was more scared of saying I really enjoy something, and you guys are like, bro, what? Like, I hate that album. You know what I mean? Because it's happened, and like, at first I'm like, oh yeah, I do see what you're saying. Yeah, like, or like, you guys would be like, oh, your ear sucks. Like, and obviously,
we're
like,
so troll.
I know we troll each other
all
like,
the time.
I know it's ridiculous. I guess I just realize. I guess I just wish like. It's so funny because I love Super Review, and I also love Zen's Top Pro, and he just gave it 3 stars. I'm not saying that's a bad rating.
Yeah,
but he is a big creator in this space and reviewed an IM that's really hot right now that most people I think just generally
really
enjoy.
With, yeah.
And Mark was like not like a crazy fan. I think he appreciates it. I think he totally gets who this is for, and he did a really great job in his review of being objective, but then getting into his subjective feelings about it. And I respect that. Like we were watching it like, holy crap, wow. He doesn't really like it. Like this is crazy. And then you're like making a video like this is the new benchmark. And I would agree, but like I really respected that video. Like I did not think that video was going to go that way. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know Mark's preferences well enough, but I guess I just wish I realized just how subjective it was and not been afraid to say I don't like something if I don't like something, like there's, a couple IMs that I recommend to people that the community loves and like, it's just not for me, but I'm like, okay, well, if that's what you're looking for, I know you're going to enjoy this. And then, they'll reach out like, I love this set. I love this headphone. Like, thanks so much. And it's like, I'm just so glad that you like it. And like, and like, that's what we pride ourselves with here at Bloom is like, if you get an IM and it's not quite for you, like, all right, well, like let's work something out.
Yeah,
we
want to get you gear that you
like.
want.
We just want to get you something you want to listen to. Of course, like I mean, I want to like, and that's something I struggle with, like especially with new releases or with the hundreds of products that we have. Is like, I need to get outside of my comfort zone a little bit and dive into stuff that maybe I wrote off 3 months ago and just haven't listened to since. And the customer asks about it, and it's easy for me to recommend something else, but I think for me to be diligent in what we're doing, like I think I need to actually stray away a little bit from what I just love, the same 10 IMs I listen to, the same 3 headphones I listen to all the time, like but it's subjective, and you were talking too with just like creating and how artistic it is, and I guess I thought it was a little bit more objective than it is. I thought that it was a little bit more like I was gonna be a noob if I didn't like, a hot IM. Like Legion's an example of an IM I wasn't crazy about, but people love that set. I mean, the community loves it. There's a lot of just gleaming reviews on it.
Gleaming.
Yeah, and it's just not for me, which is so like interesting. And I think even maybe at the time that came out, I would have been hesitant to be like I'm not crazy about this. But I just over time just realized like, dude, just like, this is so funny, but like, be yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There are so many options in this hobby. I mean, it's going to be hard for you, I think, if you enjoy personal audio. I think it's going to be hard for you to strike out every time. Like, I think you're going to find something you like. And I guess I wish I kind of leaned into that a little bit more. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Of course it does, because I remember getting on YouTube for the first time and wanting to do reviews and just being like, I don't want to share a take that I have that people just rip me alive for, like, because like I remember when I first started,
I got ripped alive in Mark Ryan's comment section about the Top Pro. That was crazy.
That was so funny.
I got owned.
That was so
Somebody
funny.
Came and backed me up. Shout out to whoever that was. I didn't even respond. I got owned. I was just like, interesting video. I do agree with the bass, but I do enjoy this IM. Like, I agree with your take on the low end. And someone just attacked me. Yeah. It was insane. I didn't even respond. I was just like, I fell to my knees.
It
I
was
was
totally
like,
awesome.
Okay. But someone came in and was like, you need to be respectful. And I was like, yes, thank you. That was so funny.
Yeah, like I remember when I first started creating and Sundara was all the rage at the time.
Wow.
And they just, people, it's the best value headphone. Look no further. This is it. And yeah, it's a good headphone. But I remember at the time listening to it and just being like, I don't not really like this that much. Like I think it's fine. but I don't think people should be hyping it up like this. And I was a huge Edition XS fan at the time. And people are like, no, Sundara beats Edition XS. You don't spend the extra money. And I just started being like, wow, like if I went on YouTube and said right now Edition XS over Sundara, I think people would be in the comment section like, what are you talking about? No way. And now with the Edition XS being cheaper than Sundara, people have like, wow, this is the best value headphone in the hobby. And it's like things change. Your opinion can change, and like we just hear this stuff so differently. Like it's a matter of fact. And I think we're trying so hard to make this hobby objective in, measurements and doing what we can and like finding out more research. That's a big part of it. Yeah, and that's good, but at the end of the day, it is always going to be a subjective hobby, and there's just always going to be differing takes. And also a call back to what we were previously talking about the DIY IEMs. Michael Bruce, who does short bus audio. The video is called A Journey into the World of DIY IEMs with Michael Bruce. Really brilliant guy.
Here it is.
Just insane expertise in this field. And him and James had a terrific conversation. It's only 23 minutes long, so I really encourage anybody who's interested in that to go watch it, because there's the 2 audio nomad intros in one Bloom Pod episode.
I'm sorry. This guy looks like the host of a podcast I listen to, Dissect. Really? Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. That is super cool. I was going to say something. What was it?
No, I'm sorry, I derailed.
No, it's totally fine.
I'm surprised Mark Ryan didn't like Zen's Top Pro more than he did, because he even said it in the video. He's like, I'm not like huge. He's not like a big bass head. So I was like, oh yeah, Top Pro really hits at like a smooth, sweet spot where it's not too much bass, but it's not too light.
And how funny for him to comment it just wasn't enough for him.
Yeah, and then it's like a very neutral mid-range. He loved that about the brain dance. And then like it has very good technicalities, so I thought that would really.
I disagree with him on his take on the treble regions. And
I was surprised by that. But.
Yeah, but it's interesting with the bass, but I do get it though.
I get it too. That was my biggest.
And my T Pro, I think provides like that extra oomph that I think he's talking about. But it's just a different set for a different thing. Yeah. Man, it's such a bummer. I was totally gonna piggyback off you with what you were saying, but I completely forget. But excuse me. I think that this bleeds in quite nicely to kind of what you were saying on. You wanted to talk about, we're talking about objective and subjective here, and you wanted to talk about how do you develop a critical ear. And I think that's, I think everybody's a critic in a sense. Like you grab a new IEM, of course you're going to, and it's such a tricky hobby with a lot of it's online retail. There's not a lot, like you were saying, in Singapore, like the audio cafes or really just in other countries. I think this is more streamlined of like, like you're saying, they're listening to wired headphones still or wired earphones. And we're really not in America. Like it's not the norm. Like if I'm on SEPTA, everyone has AirPods on, everybody. Where that may be different in other countries. And it's tricky in this hobby to, you can come hop in our live chat or you can watch reviews, and at the end of the day, like exactly like what we're saying, it just really just depends on your taste and your library. And so everybody's a critic in that sense. Like when they receive an IM, they're either going to like it or they're not. So I guess how do you even want to frame this question on how to develop a critical ear? What are you referencing? And then what would be your answer?
So I almost answered the way I'm going to answer this question with what I wish I knew when I first started the hobby. And I decided to change my stance on the first one because I think it's going to be more interesting in this topic. But I think having a familiar sense of the gear you're using, the music you're listening to, and like having a baseline. Like I remember when I first started in the hobby, I just listened to, I don't know, I'd pick anything out of the demo cabinet. I'd pick the Griffin, I'd pick the Meze Advar, I'd pick out whatever spare ear tips I had accessible to me, whether it was like the SpinFit CP360, the CP155, like.
That's just the craziest combo I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's absolute insanity.
I want to listen to it.
And it's just like, I actually think Advar was a pretty good IEM. It competed well with the IE600 at the time, but didn't really get the same recognition, I think, as the IE600 did, but that's a whole different conversation.
Tell me how you really feel.
But it was like, I would just evaluate gear like that and just be like, okay, let's, the Mojo 2 just came in. Like I remember when the Mojo 2 came out, it was super hot, and I wanted to hear it because it was like, see, people are hitting us up all the time about it.
Yeah.
Let's plug, this is what, 3.5 millimeter. Let's plug in, I don't know, at the time we had the V16 Divinity or something like that, and I just plug that in 3.5 and be like, oh wow, the Mojo 2 sounds amazing, but it's like, well, how much like is contributing from the Mojo 2 to the V16 Divinity when I don't even know what the V16 Divinity sounds like. Like, it's just like, I would just do that. And I think it's easier for a consumer who has to start somewhere by buying something. You know, you do your research. Okay, I just bought the Quadelix 5K. Okay, you know, I'll keep that. Or I just bought the DC07 Pro. Now you're gonna know how that sounds because you're gonna listen to it. You're gonna, you know, but like having a baseline with that and making sure you always use like your test tracks, like always use that to evaluate gear. Because I remember going to trade shows and listening to a orchestral song that I listened to for the first time at that show and be like, these headphones have the greatest soundstage of all time. And it's like, well, I've never listened to this orchestral song. I go home and play it on my IEMs and I'm like, oh wait, this track makes everything sound like it has an awesome soundstage. So
Not realizing orchestral music is good for the first time.
Exactly. It was literally like, wow, like this is crazy. And it's like, well, I just don't think you're very familiar with this. And it's like having that familiarity from your music to your source, to your headphones, to your IEMs, to your ear tips, like makes a huge difference in being able to evaluate gear to a quote unquote critical standpoint. Because I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, my ear is much better than yours or, you know, Joe's down the street. It just isn't. Like, it's just
I think you've told me that before.
Well, that's right, because you told me a headphone or IEM I like isn't good. But
me hating on velour.
Yeah, you hate on secure audio velour and being like, well, I just have better ears than you, so that's probably why it sounds.
Yeah, we have a reasonable debate about it, and the debate just ends saying like, well, dude, you have a cringe ear, so nothing matters. Shut up. Get back to work.
Instead of cringe ear.
Cringe ear mentioned.
But it's like having that baseline of familiarity, and now like having my home system and knowing how that sounds. Like I was able to take the MK4 home this weekend. Yeah. And that was like where I really got the full sense of what MK4 can both scale up to with really nice amplifying power and also just with a source that I know. Because, you know, I listen to everything off my DX180 to start with, whether it's an IEM. Headphones I usually do my Element 4, but like I know how all this gear sounds to begin with, so then I can really evaluate like a piece of, you know, of new gear. And I think that's important for us in customer service to really know what we're talking about. Yeah. So we're not
it's
just
important for them to know where we're coming from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm smiling because I'm just thinking like, okay, Bloom Pod drinking game. Matty D brings up the DX180, his home system, and his Element 4. I bring up subjective listening, Zen's T Pro, and Mark Ryan.
You would be on the floor dead.
Oh yeah, you'd be dead. Yeah. And I don't even know. We've been going for maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No, dude, everything you're saying is so good. I think this is actually important to talk about because it kind of just like it's almost like rephrasing the question because everything you say I completely agree with, and I almost think it could be more of like an instructional of like actually how do you develop a critical ear, like someone asking us. And like I've been getting, especially like I know we had that customer on Friday. I just responded to an email this morning when I got in. People tell us all the time, hey, sorry about all the questions, I'm new to this, you know, which is like funny. It's like, bro, don't apologize. It's what we're doing.
What we're getting actually paid for.
This is actually what we get paid for. Everything else is just shenanigans, freaking Bloom Pod. But, you know, but like, I feel like there's been an uptick in the last couple of weeks of people reaching out like, hey, I'm you know, this is actually my first IM or whatever. And I think this is important to talk about. And I would love to go through a kind of like a step-by-step of like what you do kind of want to have with baseline. We kind of talked about baseline last time with the Top Pro, and that's like a kind of a different thing, but it ties into this where I think the Top Pro, I was saying the Moondrop variations kind of do it for me. There's a couple of sets that are in that mid tier of budget where once you get that, you could literally never listen to another IEM again, but we all know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So from there, you upgrade to a flagship, or you spend a little bit less money on a specialized tuning. Maybe you want a dead reference set, or you want a bass headset, or, you know. It's important to have bass lines in your collection, but it's important, like what you're saying with source gear, with ear tips. reference tracks are so
Yeah.
important. And you know what's funny, man? Like, this is holding me accountable because I think I haven't been listening to my reference tracks as much. And I have two playlists on Apple Music. I have my brand guide reference tracks. So that's like my true reference track playlist. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 7 songs in here. That's it. 7 songs. There's a hip hop song, alternative rock song, folk song, electronic song, classic rock song, shoegaze song, and a dream pop song.
Yeah.
Not 1, 2 songs in the same genre. There's not one repeating song from the same artist. They're just 7 completely different songs that when I'm doing a brand guide and I'm listening to 8 IEMs, I start from the top and I go down the list. You know, and I know Duck Bloke is like the king of that.
Holy
He takes it to another level.
30 songs that are all just like designed to bring out the most in every single
With different PEQs.
Yeah. Very.
He's like on a totally different level.
Same with HBB. He's got that whole folder. Have you seen that folder? He brought it out in the most recent top earphones in every budget.
I didn't check out that video
So
yet.
funny,
I just
dude.
saw it.
It's so funny. He's like, I don't do anything different. He's like, it's the autism. I don't do anything different. And he's just got this huge binder of like tracks and everything like outlined. His methodology, I mean, is awesome because you know his collection, you know where he's coming from. But I just thought it was fun.
No, yeah, he is so funny. But yeah, dude, so like this brand guide references, and I think I haven't done a brand guide in a little bit, but when I'm listening to 8 different IMs, it's like, yeah, well, how do you develop a critical ear? Well, I really stay consistent with the source gear on my desk. I just changed DACs. I put that DMPA 10 on there.
Yeah.
Which is just so much fun. But my amp, I've had the HA2A on my desk for like 2 or 3 months straight now. Like, it's the only amp I've been listening to. I love it. I had the D90 Sabre on there for forever, and I just switched to the DAP. I'm using the DAC and the Ever Solo unit. So keeping your source gear the same is important. And then also, like, for portable use, I usually listen to the DC Elite, or recently it's been the RU9. I've been listening to the RU9 for 6 straight weeks. Pretty much nothing else. So it's been really helpful when all these new IEMs are coming out for me to know exactly what my system on my desk sounds like, or exactly what the RU9 sounds like in different modes. And then once you have that, especially on the RU9 with the filtering options, then you can kind of play around. I wonder how this set would do. This set, I need a little bit more warmth from this set. I'm going to go in the classic mode. You know, that's super important, especially for us. So the reference tracks that you mentioned are great. And like I was saying, I have my brand guide reference. That's the one album. And then I have Jake reference tracks. Now this playlist has 87 songs. So, I mean, this is just like a lot of just my favorite songs. But, you know, there's repeats from records in this. But this is more like, okay, like I'm just doing a return. I'm just throwing something on and I'm listening to gear. But, you know, having the same tracks in there, because once you do find an IM that you love, then it's real easy for your casual listening. Okay, you love this set. This is your everyday driver, and your new band came out with a favorite record. Like, that's like such an easy transition because now you've kind of done the work. You've already done the work, and I don't want to make it seem like you can't enjoy your gear without doing these things.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Because that's absolutely not the case.
Yeah.
But you know, something I didn't know when I got into the hobby. It's funny how these two questions overlap with each other, but I just had no idea that every single freaking part of your chain affects the sound.
Oh yeah.
From the type of file you're listening to.
Oh yeah.
Obviously through your amp and your DAC. But then it's the cable, it's the termination, it's the ear tip, the driver configuration, obviously the IEM. Everything affects your sound.
Even if it's down to the minute detail of like something that may not even be you pick up until later because it's a 1 to 2 dB differential, but still, I mean, it's there. It's impacting the chain.
Yep, it's impacting the chain. And so I think that how do you develop a critical ear? I think consistency in your chain matters. Consistency across a lot of things.
Yeah,
obviously, get the ear tips that you like. We were kind of throwing shade on stock ear tips last episode.
We were throwing crazy
shade, but like that's how I feel. There's so many ear tips. Justice just asked me on 2 Sundays ago after church. He was like, "Do you guys?" Or it was the Catalyst thing, but he was like, "Do you guys do you sell like universal ear tips that like he said like custom ear tips? I mean, he don't know ball, but he has a stage 3 that he uses for worship, and he was like, do you guys like sell different ear tips? I feel like I'm not getting a good source or a good seal or whatever it may be, and I'm sure he's using just the tips that he got on that set whenever he got it, whenever that was. And I'm like, yes, I would love to talk to you about it. Like, you can come in, we can try stuff out. Like, we're boys, you can try out my ear tips, we'll clean them off. Like, make sure you get the right seal. But, you know, everything matters. So consistency in that regard is super important. And it's just going to help you make more informed decisions as well. It's going to help you with your next audio purchase. Like, it's against, we're like a broken record here, but obviously content creation is a great way to learn. Hopping in our live chat or anyone's live chat's a great way to learn. Especially if you know Matt and you know Crank and you like his videos and you think he's handsome. And
I don't think.
Oh, come on, man.
All those things can coexist, but go on.
but you like Matty D and like you think he's a cool guy, and it's like, you know that he is accessible if you email us, right? And it's like, well, I like his takes and I like the content that he produces. What does he feel about it? Or you hop in creators YouTube comment section. You know, it's just important. But that's all great and it's really accessible. But it is important to have your basics covered, to have your streamline. And yeah, I think that's a really great point that you bring up. I think it's perfect.
I think it's always kind of funny when people are like, "Oh, content creator, what is your reference tracks?" As if they're gonna be like better than.
What are your reference tracks? Let's do it. Pull up your playlist. I know you got like 4 or 5 songs in there. I'll pull up mine.
I just think it's funny because it's like, unless it's for the purpose of exploring new music, I just think it's kind of silly to be like, oh, my reference tracks are the pinnacle of bringing out all the spectrum of the.
Well, that's ridiculous.
I know, but it's just funny.
Your reference tracks should be the songs that define you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're don't listen to someone else's reference track if that's not the kind of music you listen to.
Yeah.
Get your reference track. Because that's where the subjective part of this comes in. I don't give a rip if an IM is good for classical because I don't listen to classical music.
Yep.
I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Now, I know that there's qualities of certain IMs that I can recommend. Like when Brian came in and he's like, honestly, man, I just listen to classical music all day. I'm like, all right, well,
That's so awesome.
It is more mature, isn't it? Yeah, I wish that was me. But I got him the U6T, and he loves it. He got the DX180 and the U6T.
U6T is a darn good IM, man. 64 audio.
I'm really coming around to it. That IM is making me like neutral, technical IMs.
It's got nice thickness to it. It's got a nice weight to it.
It's bold. Yeah. It's a heavy. There is like a heaviness to the sound, and for it to be so uncolored as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's very uncolored. But
it's a unique. Yeah. It's unique in that sense for what it is, and then also for it to pull me in. I think is pretty impressive. But what are your reference tracks? This is fun.
Yeah, this is fun.
You have, I think, less songs in there. You got like what, 4 or 5 songs?
I got 5 in here that I always play, and then I have some on my DAP that I always play.
All right, let's hear it.
Number 1, every single time I listen to a new piece of gear, without fail, it'll never be something. Is It True, Tame Impala. I've listened to that song. Like, Abby loves it, who's my fiance, and she'll play it in the car, like when we're going to the beach. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, reference track. I'm like, I am evaluating.
She doesn't know that these car speakers suck.
Yeah, she doesn't know I'm evaluating the speakers of her Kia Sorento right now. So Is It True, always number 1. Wildflower and Barley by Hosier and Allison Russell is just a song that I absolutely adore, and I love Hosier. So like, if it works well with Hosier, it works well with me.
It's a crazy pool, bro. You love Hosier.
I love Hosier. He's coming to Philly.
I don't know that I know a single song by him other than "Take Me to Church."
No,
are you serious? I've listened to the record, but he reminds me of Father John Misty a little bit.
Yes. Right? Father John Misty is upbeat and fun. I love Father John Misty.
Yeah, he's so sick.
Yeah. Give Me the Mic, Limp Bizkit. Very good for a heavy setting, big band. Andrew's gonna kill me, dude. Andrew's gonna kill me sharing Limp Bizkit on here, but it's true, man. I like Limp Bizkit.
Andrew doesn't like Limp Bizkit?
Oh my gosh, he hates him. Oh, he hates him.
Well.
Hates him. But very good for like a really rowdy song that just has so much going on across the spectrum of the sound that it's just like, this is bananas. So it really, sees how well like how fast the IM is. Is it slow? Does it have nice attack in the bass? Does it have good decay? So, Ascension by Barry Lowe's. I like the brass elements in there. It has a lot of contrasting elements in the track, and Barry Lowe's is just, gosh, I could go on about how much I love his music, but very good track there. And then Over, Playboy Cardi. That's my like one rap rap song that I love. I know how everything sounds on that track.
Yeah.
And
You love Cardi,
I
bro.
love Playboy Cardi, unfortunately.
do.
I'm like,
It's a guilty pleasure. You
I
gotta have a
know,
guilty
exactly.
pleasure.
Andrew's
Everybody
gonna
does.
like kill me, dude. This
Yeah.
episode's gonna go live. He's gonna be on at my desk tomorrow. Or Thursday, I guess.
Thursday. Yeah.
All right, rattle them off.
I
baby.
like how you, yeah, and I love how you, because I wanted to, you kind of just did it naturally, but I love how you were talking about what you're looking for in each reference track, because I think it's important when you're curating something like this. And I'm all over the place too. So I mean, mine it starts with Kendrick Lamar, Squabble Up.
Okay.
Huge 808s on that one, which that's what I'm looking for with that set.
Yep.
I'm looking, that is like, I'm looking for the low end, and that's not much of a sample set. So like hip hop's weird in their production, and this is more just like a produced song with keys, and I'm looking for the 808 slam. I'm looking to see how it's impacted on that set, and I know that song so well, and I love that record. So I got Kendrick first, and then I got Weird Fishes / Arpeggi from Radiohead.
Man, that song's amazing.
That is my end all be all. How good is the layering? Mm-hmm. There, I don't even want to know how many. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many different electric guitar plucks and riffs are in that song. And I love how even the song is layered, how it starts with like just the drums, and then you get the drums, bass, and electric, and then you get a little bit more electric parts, and then that song explodes. And for me, like when I'm listening, like for imaging, that's like my ping pong ball.
Oh my gosh,
that's my ping
song.
pong ball track.
That ping pong track test thing is nuts, man. That is something.
Yep. I got Easter, which is the last track off of Slaughter Beach Dog's latest record, Laughing, Crying, Laughing, Waving, Smiling. It's a really warm song, really thick acoustic in that song with the wire brush on the snare, big bass response. And so for me, that's like, okay, how warm is this gonna sound? Is it gonna be like I'm freaking sweating on the beach, or am I not really getting that from this? Like, so that's like where I'm at with that. I got Let It Happen, Tame Impala, my favorite, like just like
Pinnacle.
I think it's the best Tame Impala song. You may disagree. You're more of a fan than me. I love Currents though. I'm on record saying I don't like the Slow Rush, and I'm sorry. And you know,
I can't. We can't talk about that because I'm gonna.
So yeah, I mean that just from such clean production on that record, and I just love like for more details and immersion is what I'm looking for there. Breathe in the Air.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
There it is. Master Aslan, I'm sorry. Imitation. Not a real poster.
Everything these days
is an imitation.
You were a Pink Floyd abomination. Didn't he say that? Something like that?
He did.
Dude, I love it.
I've loved Pink Floyd for 10 years. I don't... Whatever. I love that dude. Under the same name, Were, and when I'm looking for with this, and Were is a shoegaze band with very drowned out vocals, and they're really using vocals as more of a instrument as opposed to... Like, that's what a lot of people say. They say, oh, it's not mixed well. And it's like, all right, I get it. And their new record, the vocals were more forward. But on this record, on Feels Like You, it's very, very, very drowned out vocals. And so for me, that's a really good test. I know that song's definitely my favorite song on that record. And they're one of my favorite bands. And how clear are these vocals coming across on a song with the least clear vocals of all time? Like, that's kind of like my vocal test. And then I got Show Me How by Men I Trust.
Oh, man.
They're
what a song.
One of the coolest bands ever.
Yeah.
It is such a lush song.
It is.
And so I'm really looking at the electric guitar in that song and that chorus and light, like a little light spring reverb and the soft drums and her soft voice. Like, that's my female vocal test.
Yeah, I use Crumb. Amama.
Amama?
Yeah, this track's called Amama. It's off the album Amama, but
the title track is Amama.
Yep.
I can't say I've ever heard of him. Oh, I guess I've heard of Crumb. Yeah. You're an Alice Phoebe Lou guy, I thought.
I love Alice Phoebe Lou, but Crumb has always been. I've liked Crumb for a while now. I was actually at Trader Joe's yesterday, and I was wearing a Crumb shirt. And the cashier was like, oh my gosh, I love your shirt. I went and saw it.
Well, yeah, at Trader Joe's, they're going to be listening.
Yeah, I was like, man. I was like, Crumb representation, Trader Joe's, I'm here for it. I love it.
Dude, I was watching the Phillies game with my parents yesterday.
Yeah.
And a Taco Bell commercial came on, and it was playing Seeing Stars off the new Turnstile album.
Holy crap. That's insane.
In a Taco Bell ad. I was like, guys, it's Turnstile. And then I try and explain like just how legendary Turnstile is, and they're just like, cool,
like, yeah,
I don't care.
Game's back on, Jake, stop talking.
Game's back on. Zach Wheeler's pitching a complete game shutout.
Oh, yeah, he was done.
Oh, it wasn't a shutout. He made one mistake. He gave up a home run. It's the most Zach Wheeler thing I've ever seen. So yeah, so I think that was I think that was really good, man. I think it's important for people to gather reference tracks. I mean, this turned into somewhat of a reference track conversation, but it all boils down to having your baseline, and your sources, your ear tips, and just remembering that everything is affecting your sound. Yeah. So let's establish the things that are easy, like, it's easy enough to get a portable DAC amp dongle, and it's easy enough to find ear tips that just work for you, right? Or maybe have a couple of pairs of ear tips that work for you, depending on the nozzle and everything. And then you go from there. I thought that was excellent, man. I think that's important to talk about. Do you want to do the customer service question of the week?
I would absolutely love to.
Wow.
This is the most in-depth topic I think we've ever had on Bloom Pod. Episode
I'm 5. A little intimidated. So your customer service question of the week, I don't think it was...
It was a YouTube comment.
Okay, so it was a YouTube comment on the Top Pro video?
I believe it was, yeah.
Okay. So the question, you boiled it down to, is product variance real? And have we experienced that in the hundreds of units that we've tested here at Bloom? I'm going to need a little bit more clarification on your end. And for those who don't know, Matt is... the wizard here, and he comes up with our topics each episode, and I basically say yes. So I try. Sometimes I contribute to the questions, it's funny because I'm framing these, but Maddie is really coming up with these questions. So like, what are you referencing more specifically here? It's funny. I feel like this is the least prepared I've been for Bloom Podcast, but
it's fun. It makes it more
trying to be raw, baby.
Let's exactly. Product variance really boils down a lot to, I think mostly IEMs. Headphones, obviously, it's just as apparent as well. But it comes down to, like, have we measured things? Have we measured the same IEM and we noticed, oh, wow, there's a difference in this tuning than this one. How did this leave the warehouse? How did this get past quality control? The most apparent...
in a defective unit? Is that what you're talking about?
Or in something that someone just returned and they didn't even know that it didn't measure according to how a frequency response.
Like it didn't measure well, or there was something wrong in the build, or what are you talking about?
It's like, so imagine there's a MK4 frequency response that comes out from Linsel, and that's how the unit should sound, right? Now imagine we get back just a regular customer return. They didn't even know anything was wrong with it. They just returned it because they didn't like it. And we measure it, and it's like, whoa, this isn't even close, like in the treble, of how it's supposed to sound. Like they actually just got a total misrepresentation of the MK4. And some people, will order 2 units, one from Bloom. One guy even said in the comment section, was like, I just ordered one from Elise Audio and one from Bloom to see if product variance is a real thing.
Okay, like I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah, like does one sound better than the other? Does one just differ from the other? And typically, no, it doesn't.
Well, it's certainly not the intention.
Yeah, it's certainly not the intention, but there are a large amount of cases where, a driver blows and someone's just like, hey, man, this sounds like the right side my IM's underwater. What's going on with that? And it's like, oh, that's definitely not how it should be. Let's get it back, and we find a driver defect. But on the smaller scale, are there IEMs leaving the warehouse or the manufacturing plant that, maybe we're just off in the tuning process and it slipped past QC? Yeah, I think that's a possibility for sure. I don't think we've seen it enough to be like, we got to contact the manufacturer. Yeah, this is a problem. But I definitely think there's people out there that have gotten an IE600 and the bass is not tuned to the typical frequency response. That's for that IEM. Same with headphones. It was interesting. There was one guy at CanJam who's actually become a close friend of mine, and he's like, "Hey, can you listen?" His name's Troy Walker. He helped in the development of the R70X Refine from Apos Audio. Shout out to my guy. Troy, if you're listening, I don't think you do because we text, and I think you would talk about Bloom Pod if we did. So I'll send him this episode.
Shameless link to hit up Troy and say, what's up, brother?
We were actually talking more recently, probably 2 weeks ago. He's a really brilliant guy, and he's been in the hobby for a while, and we became friends at Can Jam SoCal 2023, I want to say. He was like, "Hey man, can you listen to my IE600?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've already listened to the IE600." He's like, "Just listen to it." And I was like, "Okay." So I listened to it. I was like, "Yeah, it sounds like an IE600." He's like, "Well, I bought this off AliExpress for like $230." And I was like, "Wait." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And we measured it, and it measured pretty close.
Wow.
So it was just like a weird thing of like, that in a sense is going to be a product variance because it's coming from AliExpress. It's labeled as an IE600. It measures somewhat close to the IE600 stock. Like, it's just very interesting how there could be things leaving the warehouse that some people don't even realize aren't supposed to sound the way that they do. But yeah, I don't think we've noticed it enough to where we've ever contacted the manufacturer like this is a real problem.
Yeah, never outside of a defective
a true
unit,
defect,
like a true driver failure or a channel imbalance, or
it's just an interesting topic. Like,
it is interesting. I guess my question for you that is funny is, do you think it's worth buying the same IM twice?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think there's a lot of good customer service in our hobby, so it's not a problem because you're just going to end up returning it, and whether they have restocking fees, that's on you. That's what you the price you pay to get the best sounding unit. But
sure,
I don't know. I think there's gotten to a point in the hobby where QC is at an all-time high. Obviously, there's freak accidents, there's mishaps, there's mistakes. We make mistakes all the time. Everybody does. And things leave the warehouse when they shouldn't. And that's just the nature of the business in anything. But I think, in my experience, there's, just been so much testing protocol done and the development of couplers and companies like Moondrop, who have like the B&K 5128 head and torso simulator that's super accurate in its representation of frequency response and stuff. So, companies are taking more and more initiative to make sure that things leave the factory as they've tuned it. I think the MK4 now comes with a QC card that shows your frequency response graph.
What?
And yeah, that's really cool. And DMS, when he made the Omega, sent you could type in your serial number on the website and it would show you your frequency response graph, not, the one who's, the one that's just stock that, people put on a box and say, this is how it's supposed to sound. It's like this is what you're tuned to.
I do wonder how much product variance there is then.
I think
what's great about that is if there was a clear drive defect from the warehouse, it just wouldn't be sent out.
Exactly.
What a brilliant idea that is.
Yeah. I thought DMS's take on Omega was really cool. And obviously there's been other companies that have done that. I think Sennheiser did it with the HD 800S.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it comes with a flash drive. I think the HD 800S comes with a flash drive, and I remember asking Steve, like, dude, what the heck is this? And I think it has the user manual, and I think it has the frequency response graph. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure someone listening with BloomPod right now may even be using HD 800S, because it's a very popular headphone.
If you're using that headphone right now, hit us up.
Yes, please comment. Please comment. Like, you have to.
And we'll send you a $25 discount. I'm just kidding. Everyone's like, I'm listening to it. Andrew's like, oh no.
I didn't even think about that.
We get an influx of emails.
I didn't even think that they could totally just lie. I'm such an optimist, and like nobody would lie.
What if I didn't know that was a thing, and I'm just realizing now. I guess like obviously logistics of it could be tricky, but what a brilliant idea to just test every friggin' IM. I mean, maybe they do, but maybe they don't send you the graph.
Yeah,
you gotta
they definitely.
You got to imagine they are getting tested before they get sent out.
Yeah, of course.
Every unit.
Yeah.
So, but the comfort of having that, and then it's real easy too, right? Because then it's easy, and then something happens in shipment.
Well, that's what most like channel defects are. It's just a driver is dropped from the UPS, or a box is dropped from the UPS guy. It's not his fault. He's working. He's working 100-degree days where his hands and he's sweaty, and a box drops, and channel blows because a driver just blunk. So do you like that sound effect? Blunk,
blunk,
blunk. Just hits the ground. Blunk.
Okay, yeah.
That's how I imagine that I am hitting the ground would sound like blunk.
So dumb.
But yeah, so I do think product variance is a thing, but I don't think it's on the scale or on the level as some people go to the extents of which it's necessary. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my microphone just fell. Did you see? Marty's
Dude, these mic stands are awful.
These mic stands are so bad.
It's bad every time.
I'm really sorry.
That's okay. We'll just blame Marty. Yeah, you still can't get it right. It's falling.
Nah, it's falling. I'm going to keep it there. That's where it's been most of the episode.
And this is like so far into the episode that Marty won't catch it. So like we'll just have a quiet crank for the last however long we go.
That's what the world needs, a quiet crank. And Andrew will agree with that.
Yeah, finally a take that Andrew can agree with.
Yeah, Andrew will agree with that. The world just needs a quiet crank.
In Andrew's words, we are completely obnoxious.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's true.
It is true.
But we love each other. And we love the hobby.
Yep. And that's all
we love the hobby. Yeah. I'm just so excited about it all. I mean, I'm excited about all the engagement. I think like I just want to encourage everybody listening, and we've had a lot of this will be the 5th episode. So I mean, all 4 episodes that have been out so far. We've had a lot of reoccurring commenters.
Yeah.
You know, coming in like just as soon as it drops on Wednesday, like yes, can't wait to listen.
Yep.
Before you even listen.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's awesome. And
then it's funny, like Vinny will comment right when it drops, and then he'll comment 12 hours later once he listens. Like I would encourage, I would just love to really tap into the community aspect of content creation through this platform. And I would just encourage everyone, like these are 3 questions when it comes to what do you wish you knew? How did you develop your critical ear? Yeah. And your experience of product variance. I would just love if you shared in the comments like how you're feeling about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, we are priding ourselves in we will respond to your comment. We love it. We want to engage. So, you know, I mean, you can always shoot us an email, but like, let's have a conversation about it.
I love it.
I think that'd be fantastic. It's one of the more rewarding, more fun parts of us after all the post-production and everything's done with the podcast, or for Steve in your videos. Like,
oh yeah, the comments are the best part. That's why
comments are the best part.
Making videos.
If we got 7 views, but everyone that viewed it commented,
we'd be so up.
It'd be a dub. Like, it wouldn't be, but I'd feel a little bit better about it. But yeah, man, I think it's been about 45 minutes or so.
Okay.
If you want to wrap up, do you have anything else you want to share? Any other topics? Any other thank yous, shout outs?
Thank you to everybody, man.
We're going off the dome.
Yeah, thank you to everybody that's watching. It kind of blows my mind that somebody in Scotland was watching. That rocked my world. Listen from Scotland. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Bloom Pod Worldwide. Baby. Yeah, baby. So I think
Bloom
that's
Pod
awesome.
Worldwide. That'll be on the first t-shirt.
I think, merch coming soon. No, I think it's awesome, man. I think this podcast is really fun. It's literally the highlight of our week.
Yeah. We text about it all week. Yeah. We text all weekend about what we're going to talk about.
Yep.
So, and no one likes it that much, but we do.
Yeah.
So.
And
Andrew does. Yeah. Andrew does.
Yeah.
We have to be nicer to Andrew.
I know.
On these episodes. He really is kind of our goat.
He's my goat.
He changed my life.
He changed my life.
All right. So now it's already going too far. Yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is the 5th episode.
Who thought we'd make it to 5 episodes?
Not me. After our 2nd episode.
My English teacher was like, you're going to start a podcast and it's never going to go more than 5 episodes. Look at me now.
Did your English teacher actually say that?
No, she was a really sweet lady, actually. She was awesome. She always believed in me. She was fantastic. It's just funny when you hear those rap songs where like, my teacher never thought I was going to make it anywhere and now I make double their salary in a day. It's like...
strange, kind of a rude flex.
Yeah.
Also,
my teachers were always really supportive. They were great people.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I went to a really good school. I want to give one more shout out to Brad Davies because
the GOAT.
We are watching, me and Matt, in just a couple of hours, are watching F1 in IMAX.
Yep.
So
I'm stoked, man.
I'm really excited.
Some popcorn.
Still feel bad about that because I hate when someone just dogs on something that you love. And like, obviously I didn't know. I've done that before where I met someone in a band at a show. A big show, so you don't think... I mean, it was at Union Transfer, and I was with people that knew someone in the band, and I was dogging on this band. I'm not going to say the band, but they're a big band in like the pop-punk emo scene, and the dude, the front guy from the band, I didn't know him, and he came up and said hi to us, and he was such a nice guy, and then afterwards, everyone... Like, when he walked away, they were like looking at me funny because literally on the car ride there, I was like, I don't care for their new music. And like,
oh man, and you met the frontman?
I met him. I didn't know I met him.
Oh,
He
dude, that's
introduced
brutal.
himself as Matt. I was like, what's up, man? He had something on. I guess maybe he worked at the venue. I didn't know what it was, whatever his lanyard was. But then,
brutal.
and then they're like, dude, that's him. Like, that's the guy. I'm not going to mention the band because I don't want to get slammed, but.
All fair.
And then he was on the stage in 20 minutes and played a great set. And like, so I just feel like this always happens to me. And I just want to say we're watching F1 in IMAX tonight, and I'm thrilled. I can't wait.
I might watch my first F1 race after this movie. That's what I'm.
You are the kind of guy to watch this movie and make it your personality.
Yeah, dude.
But all right, we're rambling. Let's wrap it up.
This has been awesome, man.
Yep, Balloon Pod episode 5. Thank you, everyone. Hit us up with any questions, any feedback. We love it. We love you. We love audio. We love each other. Peace, noobs.
Peace, noobs.
Oh, what a sweet little episode, huh?